Before there were themed nights, there were organizations. Before there was a dance floor, there were crews. Before you ever stepped foot on that ship, there was already a family waiting for you. The only question is, which one is yours?
Let me start at the beginning. Not the beginning of the cruise, not the beginning of the countdown, the beginning of the idea that made all of this possible. The idea that before you ever step foot on the Norwegian Encore, before you ever unpack your suitcase, before you ever walk into your first dance workshop, or hear the first note of the first show, you already belong somewhere. That idea is what we are talking about today. When we built the Rhythm and Soul Festival cruise, we sat down early, very early in the process, and asked ourselves a question that I think most event organizers never ask. We did not ask, how do we fill the ship? We asked, how do we make the people on the ship feel like they were meant to be there together? Because here is what I know from over 60 cruises and 13 years in this industry. You can put 4,000 people on the most beautiful ship in the world with the best artists and the best food and the most stunning ports. And if those 4,000 people do not have a sense of belonging to each other, it is just a vacation. A nice vacation, but just a vacation. We did not want to build a vacation. We wanted to build a community that happens to take place on a ship. And to build a community, a real one, not a marketing concept, you need structure. The structure I am talking about is the kind that gives people a sense of identity before they arrive. The kind that means when you walk up to a stranger at the meet and greet on day one and they are wearing the same organization colors as you are not strangers anymore. You are already family. That is the structure I am talking about. And when we were thinking about how to create that structure, how to give this community an organizing framework that would feel meaningful and culturally resonant and genuinely exciting. Now, I want to be thoughtful about how I talk about this because the tradition of Black fraternities and sororities is something I have deep respect for. What we borrowed, and I want to be precise about this word, we borrowed, is the framework. The idea that Greek letters carry identity, that when you see a symbol, you immediately understand something about the person wearing it. We took that framework and we built something specific to this community and this experience. What these organizations are, what they genuinely are at their core, is travel families, communities of like-minded people who share a common identity, a common energy, and a common commitment to showing up for each other throughout this sailing. And honestly, for a lot of people who have been part of this community, long after it as well. We have 4 organizations, each one built around a specific personality, and experiencing this cruise. And the reason we built 4 is because we wanted to make sure that every single personality type in this community had a genuine home. 4 organizations, 4 families, 4 completely different energies, and yet every single one of them is pointing toward the same thing, the same community. The same 7 days in February 2027 that are going to be unlike anything any of us have ever experienced. And by the end of this episode, I promise you, you are going to know exactly which one that is. Let's get into it. Kappa Wave 5. The adventurers, the explorers, the ones who are first off the ship at every port. This is the organization of action. It's for the person who booked this cruise because of what was waiting on the other side of the gangway. The ports, the excursions, the experience of being somewhere new in the world with people who are just as curious and just as alive as you are. Who belongs here? The traveler who has a passport full of stamps and is always planning the next adventure. The person who is first in line for shore excursions and last back on the ship. You were researching Cabo excursions before you even booked your cabin. Omega Deck knew the nightlife, the party, the ones who close out every venue every night. This is the organization of pure celebration. It's for the person whose cruise does not start until after 10 o'clock at night. The person who knows every DJ on the lineup by name. The person who looked at the 11 exclusive events and circled the times on the itinerary. The nightlife culture, the late night energy, the way this organization keeps the ship alive long after the main events have ended. Who belongs here are the guests who do not need a wake-up call because they never fully went to sleep. Sign, you are Omega Deck new, you read the event schedule and immediately started calculating which events overlap and how to be at all of them simultaneously. Sigma Lux Kappa, the fashion, the glamour, the ones who make every themed night look like a runway. This is the organization of elevated aesthetic. Sigma Lux Kappa is for the person who has been planning their Harlem Nights outfit since the moment they booked. The person whose packing list has 17 items and 15 of them are accessories. The person who understands that on a rhythm and soul cruise, how you show up is part of the experience, for yourself and for everyone around you. The fashion culture, the standard they set for themed nights, the way their presence elevates every event simply by walking into the room. Who belongs here are the guests who has a dedicated section of their closet that has been building since they booked. The one who gives other guests outfit inspiration just by existing. Sign, you are Sigma Lux Kappa. You already have a mood board for every themed night, and you started it the day after you put your deposit down. It has a Delta Groove Sigma, the music, the dance, the heartbeat of the entire cruise. The feeling of music that lives inside you rather than just around you. This is the organization closest to the soul of the cruise itself. Delta Groove Sigma is for the person who chose rhythm and soul specifically because of the dance workshops and dancing opportunities. The person who has been practicing their line dance and ballroom footwork in their living room since they booked. The person who considers a dance instructor a legitimate celebrity and will be in the front row of every workshop every morning without exception. Who belongs here are the guests who looked at the dance workshop schedule before they looked at the dining options. You watched the instructor announcement video 3 times and took notes. All right, you have met all 4 organizations. Maybe you already know exactly which one is yours, and you have been nodding since the moment I said it. Or maybe you are sitting there right now, genuinely torn between 2 families, and you need a little more to make it official. Go to www.rhythmandsoulcruise.com. There is an organization sorting quiz waiting for you in the drop-down of the home button. It takes less than 5 minutes. You answer a series of questions about how you travel, what draws you to this cruise, and what a perfect day at sea looks like for you. And at the end, it tells you which organization is yours, based on who you actually are. Now, let me tell you what being in your organization actually means once you are on that ship. Because this is not just a badge you wear. This is not just a color you represent. The 4 organizations compete throughout the entire sailing, and the competition starts from the moment we board. The Meet and Greet Challenge, the very first official Rhythm and Soul event of the 2027 sailing, is the Meet and Greet. And for organization members, it is also the first competition. Each organization will compete in the Aux God Party. If you know, you know, representing your identity from the very first hour on the ship. The energy you bring to that room on day 1 sets the tone for your organization for the entire week. The Thumbprint Travel Olympics. The Travel Olympics is one of the most anticipated exclusive events of the entire sailing, and the 4 organizations are the competing teams. Challenges that test your knowledge, your creativity, your teamwork, and your ability to represent your organization under pressure in front of the entire community. Points accumulated throughout the competition. The pride of your organization on the line with every round. The Travel Olympics is where rivalries are born and where legends are made. The organization that wins carries that victory with them, and the community talks about it long after the ship docks. Which organization has what it takes? And then there is this. Every organization will have a signature line dance, a choreographed routine set to their organization's song, a track that represents who they are, what they stand for, and how they move through this world together. When your organization performs their signature line dance on that ship, it is a statement. It is your organization saying to every person in that room, this is who we are. The signature line dance is learned before you board. It is practiced in living rooms and dance studios and parking lots between now and February 21st. It is rehearsed with your crew at the pre-cruise meetup. And when the music drops on that ship, and your organization steps onto that floor together for the first time, that moment is going to be one of the most powerful things you have ever been part of. This is what the 4 organizations of the Rhythm and Soul Festival Cruise 2027 are. Not rules, not hierarchy, not exclusion. A family, 4 of them, each one waiting for you specifically. Go take the quiz at www.rhythmandsoulcruise.com right now. Find your organization, find your crew in the Facebook group, learn your signature line dance, show up on February 21st ready to represent. Because when that ship sails out of Los Angeles, when the sail away party starts and the community is together for the first time in the same place, you are not going to be a stranger surrounded by 4,000 people. You are going to be exactly where you belong, surrounded by your family. Beat. I am Miles Harrington. This is Deck Talk and Beyond, the official countdown podcast for the Rhythm and Soul Festival Cruise 2027. 43 weeks to go. Find your crew. Your crew is already looking for you.